Greetings, and welcome to another video. And today we have another episode of Why Karate Doesn't Work, the series where I, a karate practitioner, go over a number of misconceptions or criticisms of karate, which people often use to lead to the statement of why karate doesn't work. Mostly to talk about those criticisms and either clear up misconceptions or talk about why they are the way they are. And today, as it was requested in the comments of the last video, today we are going to be covering one of karate's most well-known factors, kicks. Now, for the sake of this, kicking is described as any strike with the legs outside that does not include the knees. Well, it doesn't include striking with the knee. Most kicks are going to involve the knee in some way. So, now, to start this off, the most basic criticism I see here when talking of karate kicks is that they're too complicated and flashy. And because they're too flashy, they won't work. Now, let's see. The basic kicks of karate are the front kick, the side kick, the back kick, the roundhouse kick, the crescent kick, and, depending on your style, the returning wave kick. And then from there are the variants, the outside kicks, the spinning kicks, which are all variants of those basic kicks. And then you get into the really interesting ones, like the question mark kick, or the delayed roundhouse kick, and of course probably the most well-known of those, the tornado kick, which I am not good at. Now, as I said, the criticism is that they're all too too flashy, and they're not practical. Now, let's look at those kicks again. Front kick. It's just a basic front kick. I don't really see how that's flashy. Side kick. Not only is it not flashy, I'd argue it's one of the more battle-tested of the karate kicks. Unless you're in the general consensus of the joke that side kicks don't work. It's a funny joke, and I've referenced it plenty of times myself. But side kicks are one of my favorites. And anyone who's watched any of the old matches of Bill Wallace or the newer matches of Stephen Thompson knows just how good a side kick can be. Now, the back kick is meant to be a situational strike, where it's, okay, guy's attacking me from behind, so back kick. But what a lot of people know for the back kick is the spinning back kick, which I am also not good at, because I never practiced the spinning stuff. Which a lot of people, just say it's bad because you're turning your back to your opponent. Which is fair, I guess. But if you treat it as a situational thing, or something that you set up, it still works well. Plenty of people still do it in the UFC, for example. And, of course, in Kyokushin karate, which is very brutal. Or in kickboxing. I've even seen a couple Muay Thai guys do it. Of course, they didn't learn it in Muay Thai, because I don't think that Muay Thai has spinning back kicks. I could be wrong, though. Now, the crescent kick, that's one of my favorites. Because it goes in an angle that's hard for the people to see, and it goes right for the soft spots. And it can go right for the liver with it. It's And you actually see a lot of Muay Thai guys doing crescent kicks, but they still call them roundhouse kicks because, they don't have crescent kicks. They just do it, and because they connect with the shins, so you don't see it. But it's still a crescent kick. It's, same motion. They just call it something else because they don't have another term for it. So, returning wave kick. Classically, it goes for the knees. Of course, I just use it as a harassing tool during sparring, going for the shins. Maybe for the upper thighs. If the guy's about my height. But usually, I use it to harass the shins. Just give them something to think about. And sometimes I'll fake with it. It's also a really good setup for the question mark kick. Because they're thinking, okay, he's doing the returning wave kick again to hit me in the shins. Didn't do much earlier. And then suddenly they're getting kicked in the head. And of course, if it's not sparring and I'm trying to, keep myself from getting stabbed or something, I can just stomp in their knee. And then, of course, like I mentioned, there are the jumping variants. There's the jump. That's one. And that's another. The two ways of doing a jumping front kick. One for height, one for distance. Now, regardless of which one you're doing, it's going to add power. But from there, we got the first one is just to add power. Or maybe to be able to hit something higher. Like the guy's clearly not taking any damage from kicking him in the legs or the stomach, so you want to kick him in the chest or face. Or maybe you just want to, throw off his defenses while you're trying to hit him. And for distance, it's a lot faster than closing the distance in the standard ways. So there's for the jumping ones. For the spinning ones, it gives you more power, definitely. And it can throw a lot of people off, when you're doing it. And then there are even more ways you can throw people off with the spinning. Like, if I spin, no one's going to expect that kick to go low. But a lot of Kyokushin guys will throw spinning leg kicks. So a lot of the karate kicks aren't exactly complicated. They're just meant to be done in a number of different situations, or meant to give different targets. Now, of course, there are plenty of ones that are flashier, like the spinning hook kick. I'm actually not good at that one because I just learned it not too long ago. That one, definitely flashier. Not something I would ever do because I'm not good at it. But if you look at, say, Stephen Thompson, a good show of it was in his fight with Kevin Holland, where in the fight, he would repeatedly go for a jab, cross, spinning hook kick. And he ended up winning the fight. Specifically, I think it was with this combo, because Kevin Holland kept blocking that spinning hook kick and it ended up shattering his right hand, eventually leading to the match getting called. Or it could have just been a thing from a number of kicks that Kevin Holland had to block. No. But a lot of these flashier kicks aren't classical karate. They were either brought back in from Taekwondo later in time because, Taekwondo guys, after they really liked kicks, so they started doing more kicks with different tricks and then and a lot of things like more jumping, more spinning, all that. And eventually, when it became mainstream, karate guys started learning those and then reintegrating it. Or it actually came from a French martial art called savate, which was brought to Japan by the military and then Yoshitake Funakoshi, the son of the founder of Shotokan Karate, Gishin Funakoshi, when he was in charge of Shotokan, he incorporated the training of Savate into karate because he was a big fan of the Japanese military who had already integrated Savate. And Savate is a French kickboxing style that was based around using your feet to perform the same techniques that they would be doing in fencing because they weren't allowed to carry swords anymore. So that's where a lot of karate's kicks come from, including the high kicks, because before that it was very uncommon for there to be any kicking above the waist. Yeah, so that's it for the flashy kicks. Now for the kicks in general and the criticisms of those. Now the basic criticism you see a lot of karate guys will get on their kicks is that we snap them, where as opposed to a lot of other martial arts. I'm going to use Muay Thai as the prevailing example because of the long-standing rivalry between karate and Muay Thai. Now, let's look at the roundhouse kick as our example. Now, in karate, when we do our roundhouse, we lift the knee, extend, and then we pull it back. Whereas with Muay Thai, they swing through with their hip turned over, basically trying to use their leg like a baseball bat. And as you saw, I spun completely around because of the momentum carrying me. Now, now let's look at the differences here. Why does karate snap whereas the others don't? Well, the key reason being control. I can throw this plenty of times, but it doesn't compromise my position or my stance. But even if I don't let myself spin completely with the Muay Thai kick, it doesn't work. My position is compromised, even just slightly. I have to actively adjust so that my position can be brought back. And now I'm not saying this is an inherently a major flaw. The Muay Thai system of doing these kicks has been around for thousands of years. Muay Thai is actually a really old style. And it hasn't changed much. And so I'm not going to say it's a bad way of kicking. But that reason is one of the main reasons why we karate guys snap. And another reason, this has actually been made very apparent when you go into more heavy combat sports with your examples. But when you're allowed to catch kicks, it's a lot harder to catch a snapping kick than it is these, because in karate you're always taught to have your kick come back faster than when it came out, because they can't catch your kick if they don't have a chance to catch it. But if you're pushing through with it, you're not pulling it back fast enough. So they have a chance to catch it. This is something you see a lot in Muay Thai, catching kicks. Now, of course, you can still catch them. It's just harder to catch them. And another quick criticism about the snap kicks before I move on. A lot of people have criticized saying that you won't get as much power with a snap kick as you will with a push kick. And I can definitely see the reasoning there. You're not putting your full momentum into it. You're not putting all of your weight into it, all that. But interestingly enough, I've seen proof that that's not the case. Like, there have been a number of tests, between different martial arts, trying to figure out which one hits the hardest. And interestingly enough, the Taekwondo guys usually win. And they use snapping kicks. I remember a specific test, a while back. It was, keep in mind, it wasn't that, I don't think it was all that accurate, because they had them doing different kicks. Like, the karate guy did a front kick, while everyone else was doing their style's version of the roundhouse kick. But but in the order of how it went, it was Taekwondo in the first place, then the Capoeira guy, then the Muay Thai guy, and the karate guy basically didn't get to compete because he was using a front kick while everyone else was doing a roundhouse. So, you definitely can get as much power with a snap kick as you can with a push kick. And on top of that, karate does have push kicks. We just separate them into different techniques, them being Kiyage or Kikomi. Kiyage meaning snap, and Kikomi meaning thrust. Now, and the way that a lot of those look is for the front kick, for the roundhouse, for the back kick. The back kick more or less is the same. For the side kick, that one's actually really interesting because rather than connecting with the blade of the foot like we do with the snapping kicks, we connect with the heel. But yeah, so the push kicks do exist in karate. They're just not seen as often. Matter of fact, the karate front kick actually looks less karate than the Muay Thai front kick, which it's like that. If I didn't do it well, I'm sorry for the Muay Thai guys in the audience, but comparative to that. Now, for the next point, we have the criticism of how we kick as in the point of impact. Now, using Muay Thai as the example again, with the exception of the teep, and I think they get taught the axe kick, they're taught to always make contact with the shin. But in karate, the only time we're really kicking with the shin is if we're doing leg kicks. And even then, there's some where we don't. But usually, looking through our kicks, for the roundhouse, we connect with the instep. It's the same with the outside roundhouse kick. For the front kick, we're connecting with either the ball of the foot, the heel, or with the toes, aiming at a soft target. For the crescent kick, we're either hitting with the side of the foot or the toes, again, aiming at a soft target. With the side kick, we're either hitting the blade of the foot or the heel. And of course, there's the classical version where, for say the roundhouse, where instead of kicking with the instep, we kick with the ball of our foot, just bending it like this, with our toes lifted like this. I'd show, but I actually can't bend my toes all that well upwards. Now, a lot of people say you should really always be kicking with the shin, because if you kick with your foot, then you could just break your foot because there's small bones in the foot. Well, yeah, but a mix of three things there. The first is, of course, conditioning. We condition our feet. That shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, we do the same with our hands to an even crazier degree. The second being, we can't really connect with the shins in the same ways we can with our feet. Like I went over with the different targets, a lot of kicks can't really be connected without using the feet in the way we are. The third is that karate is for self-defense. So in most cases where we're being attacked, we're wearing shoes, which already are protecting our feet. Matter of fact, they're actually causing us to do more damage because the shoe itself is the thing making contact instead of our feet. And nowadays, most shoes have rubber or leather soles, so that's definitely able to do a lot of damage. And as a bonus fourth method, Anderson Silva. If you know, you know. So that's so we connect with the different parts of the foot because they have different effects, as well as they give us more room to work with different targets. Like I mentioned, kicking with the toes. A lot of people say you should never do that because you'll just break your toes. Well, but we aim for the soft targets like the stomach, or something I do a lot in sparring is the inner thigh. Yeah, just kind of twist at the end of what would have been a front kick, connect with the toes, aimed here. I always try to aim closer to the knee than the top of the thigh, though, because obvious reasons. And heck, it can have devastating results. Like I once had a guy in sparring kicking with his toes right in the armpit, and my arm legitimately went limp for a good 10 minutes where I couldn't move it. Because there's a big cluster of nerves in the armpit, and if you hit them well hard, they kind of stop working for a bit. Yeah, you guys thought that pressure point move in Cobra Kai was fake. Well, the way they did it in the series was kind of weird. Might not work, but still. So, and now as a final bit here, I'll throw in a little extra. Talk about how we train our kicks. Now, again, referencing Muay Thai, they always, unless they're, practicing the basics, like this is how you throw the kick, they almost always practice with a bag, with mitts, or in sparring. I'm not saying it's bad. It's Muay Thai. They train how they do, and they get results. In karate, we almost always, train against the air, like that. We stay in our stance, and we kick, or maybe we kick and move. A lot of people say it's pointless. Well, not really. It makes us better at the individual techniques. And plus, staying in the stances, that's going to get its own video, but it does have benefits. Like, the deep stances, provide strength training for the muscles, flexibility training, and it even gives some work for the tendons, too. Like, my ankle is currently in a position that requires some effort to get there. At least it used to. But by training the tendons through the stances for going on 9 years now, actually, it's able to do all these movements fairly easily. And of course, we train both legs to be equal. And, I just realized I forgot one of the key things. Now, the final criticism I'm going to talk about is the fact that people always criticize karate for throwing too many high kicks. Now, sorry, I had to catch my breath there for a sec. Now, the key reason why people say that is because when they look at karate, they're almost always looking at sport karate, which, as the name implies, is a sport. It's a game. And a lot of people train specifically for that game. And most sport karate has a ban, doesn't get you points for leg kicks. Like, I've personally been screwed over for that ban on leg kicks. Because I throw a lot of leg kicks in sparring. But when I was at a tournament once, I threw a side kick, and I hit here, but the ref said it was too said it was too close to the hip to count as a point. So waist up is where you get points. So they only really practice techniques for that spot. And yeah, you can definitely say that's a problem. But let's look at other karate styles like Kyokushin. Their competition form is so heavy in leg kicks that that's most of what they train. And they have so many ways of kicking the legs. Like there's the standards, like that. Then there's here, here, here. And of course there's my favorite. There. Well, actually my favorite's this one, where you take the heel and just like that. Kyokushin. But of course, they do a lot of high kicks too because, well, you're allowed to win by knockout. And you know, you can't punch the face in Kyokushin, so the easiest way to get a knockout is with a kick to the face. Well, or the side of the head. You don't really see many front kick knockouts in Kyokushin. But you do see a lot of, spinning hook kicks, roundhouses, crescent kicks, axe kicks, and the rolling thunder kick. I cannot do that one. So, but they do land a lot of these kicks, even if they're high kicks. Why? Because they practice them. Now, and a lot of people who practice the high kicks are the ones doing it for competition, or the ones doing it for fun. Both of those are perfectly valid reasons. But let's look at the people who do practice it for self-defense. I'm just going to say this. My ability to throw that high roundhouse kick, it far exceeds the average person's ability to defend it. So if I'm able to create the space I need to make it, like say I push them away, or something, and in the moment it does, I throw that kick right at face level, it's probably going to hit. And with the power of my kicks, plus the weakness of a person's head, it's very likely to knock them out. Or at least cause damage. Severe damage, even. So, high kicks, yeah, they work. Are they risky? Yeah, but any technique has risks. Like, people always say, don't throw high kicks because you run the risk of getting swept. Yes, getting swept, knocked over, any of that. But let's look at it like this. Middle kicks, they run the risk of them getting caught. Low kicks. Usually, when you throw a low kick, you're at the risk of getting punched in the face. Or Anderson Silva, again. Heck, even at punching. If you throw a jab, it can cut off to the side and suddenly all of this is open. You throw a cross. Again, all this is open, but if they cut off to the side, yeah, I have this arm to counter, but they can still get to this stuff, and my legs are open, so they can just tackle me. Or, I clinch up and go for a knee. They can grab me under the knee and lift me up and slam me. And of course, with grappling, elbows and knees are the kryptonite of grappling. So, yeah, there's risk to throwing high kicks, but there's risk to throwing any technique. If you really want to negate any risk of fighting, get a bodyguard, or 50. So, that's more or less my consensus on the criticisms of karate's kicking. Some are valid. Some will definitely deserve to be looked into. But some I just don't get. Now, if you guys have any any further questions or criticisms you'd like me to go over, let me know and I'll address them for you personally in the comments. And if you guys have any things you would like to see me cover in future videos, let me know in the comments. If I might go over elbows and knees next episode, actually. Yeah, if I don't see a good one. So, with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. This is Random Man, signing off.